Hello, Disney fans! It's been a really long time since I did anything about Once Upon a Time, and I'm always going to love this show. I'm always going to come back to it because it's going to be the rest of my life to review all the episodes. But yeah, there's so much Disney material to recover. It's going to take me a long time, but I really wanted to get back to this. So, for the last episode, I reviewed Saving Henry. Guess what that was about? So, quick recap to get us up to this point. And if you're not familiar with the show, please either watch it up to this episode or look at my past Once Upon a Time reviews because without knowing what's happened so far, you're not going to get what's happening now. So, at this point, quick summary Henry was captured, taken to Neverland by Pan and those working for Pan. Everybody went to Neverland to rescue him. Yay, they're all back safe in Storybrooke finally. So they think. Pan actually switched bodies with Henry, who is now trapped in Pandora's box in Pan's body. So they're not safe yet. But that's all you really need to understand to get what's happening in this episode. So everybody arrives back in Storybrooke, and I love all the reunions, especially seeing Rumple back with Belle, of course, because Rumple is always going to be my all-time favorite character.
I told you I'd see you again.
That's the last time I don't listen to you. Hey!
Hey! Welcome back.
Thank you.
For like 5 seconds, Rumple has both Belle and his son Bay, who is the most important person in his life. So, yay, we have 5 whole seconds of happiness here. And if Henry hadn't been switched with Pan, I would have said, let's end the series right here. Of course, that's not how things go. And Emma, who is supposed to be a living lie detector, can't even tell this isn't her son. It's pretty clear when he doesn't take an interest in things that Henry would love. For example, when she finds his fairy tale book, the book that tells all the stories of everyone in Storybrooke.
Well, don't be too excited. Neil still had it in his room. We thought you'd want it. Especially since you just lived a fairy tale of your own. Wait.
Great job being the savior there, Emma, and great job using your superpower of always detecting a lie. And from what she said in season 1, she always knows when someone's lying. No exceptions, there's no way to get around it. If you're lying to her, she knows it. Yeah, great job with that one. Nice job being the savior, Emma. In case you can't tell, Emma is not my favorite character in this show. Well, another character that I dislike, and I know there's going to be people out there who disagree with me. I don't like the Blue Fairy. I have a laundry list of reasons for that. One of them is that she broke up the dwarf who was formerly known as Dreamy, who would become Grumpy, being with the fairy that he was in love with. Because you can't have a dwarf and a fairy in love. Another reason I dislike her, don't even get me started on all that she puts Rumple through. She gave Bay the magic bean to take them both to a world without magic. Yes, Rumple didn't go. Okay, yeah, I know that. But he did try to find a way to find Bay after this, and she didn't tell him any other way, but he did kind of just hesitate when he mentioned maybe a curse in a way that let him know, okay, yeah, a curse will get me there. Later on, she tells Snow and David about the enchanted tree that they can send Emma through as a baby. Obviously, she knew about this. If she would have just told Rumple, yeah, if you find an enchanted tree and carve it out, you can walk right through, we could have avoided this entire series. I get it, you need certain plot points, and we wouldn't have had a show had she done that, but give me a break here. Another reason I dislike Blue is the way she mistreats Tinkerbell. Actually, she mistreats a lot of fairies under her, but okay, let's focus on Tinkerbell for the moment. In a previous episode, we saw that Tinkerbell tried to get Regina together with the man destined to be her true love. We don't know who that is yet, although we soon will. But Tinkerbell tried to, if you can hear that noise, that's my neighbor being noisy next door, doing some kind of work next door. But in any case, Tinkerbell tried to help Regina by helping her to love again. And Blue punishes Tinkerbell for that by taking her wings. Why would you not want Regina to be kept on the good path? This would have been a big help with that. But no, Blue ruined that. So, Regina actually stands up for Tinkerbell here and tries to convince Blue to give Tink her wings back.
Green, her name is Tinkerbell. I know. I just didn't think that I would. You'd ever see me again? Likewise. Give Tink her wings back.
Of course, Blue refuses to help, saying that the reason that Tink's magic isn't working is she doesn't believe in herself, and how can she believe in Tinkerbell if Tink doesn't believe in herself? Yeah, real helpful and real compassionate there, Blue. Well, they got bigger worries because, as I said, Pan is in Henry's body, and Henry's currently locked up underneath the floorboards of Rumple's shop in Pandora's box. Although, of course, they think that the person that's locked up is Pan. Well, Emma, the human lie detector, only becomes really suspicious when Henry asks to spend the night at Regina's. Something that is not out of character for Henry. He does love Regina as well. So, it's really weird that this is what clues Emma in. Oh, something's not normal here.
I didn't realize I was getting so late. It's gonna be hard to let you out of my sight. Maybe you don't have to. Maybe I could stay with you tonight. Oh, of course. Yeah, just call me tomorrow and let me know what time you want me to pick you up. Come on, Emily. Let's go home.
The reason that Pan wants to be with Regina at the moment is because Regina has magic, and he knows she brought over a vault of magical things. He starts to question that, which actually puts Regina a little bit on alert.
Mom, your vault. Did you bring that over with you?
Yes, Henry. We know that.
With all your magic?
Why are you asking all these questions?
Pan reassures Regina that, he just wants to know she'll be able to protect him. And she accepts that. He's already got a plan in motion. When they came back from Neverland, they needed Pan's shadow attached to the sail of the Jolly Roger to make the ship fly. So, Pan sets the shadow free, and the first thing it does is go after Blue.
Gone.
So sad. Well, this tips off the others that, hey, Pan is up to something. Something's not right here. And I love the acting on Jared Gilmore's part here. For him to have played, he's always played Henry well. But now he has to play a different character, Pan, while still looking like Henry. And just his expressions, I give him a lot of credit as an actor here.
Come with me, something's happened.
Of course, the whole point of having a shadow attack the Blue Fairy was so that everybody will be afraid for Henry and they'll want to protect him. So Regina takes him to her vault, which is, of course, exactly what Pan wanted.
Promise you won't touch anything?
I promise.
Yeah, that's going to end really well. Meanwhile, the others are thinking maybe Pan's controlling the shadow from inside the box. So a good idea would be to open up the box. Obviously, not a good idea if that really had been Pan in there. But they figure, okay, safety precaution, let's open the box over the town line, and that way Pan will be somewhere where there isn't magic. And that's exactly what they do.
Mom? What?
What are you waiting for? Shoot him.
Don't! Please! I'm Henry. Han, you switched our bodies.
To be fair, it is hard to believe. Emma decides the best way to prove this is Henry is to ask him a question that only Henry would know. Again, she's supposed to be a living lie detector. It shouldn't be this difficult. But that's Emma. At least he does come up with something that actually does prove he's really Henry.
The first time you and I connected. You remember that? Not met, but connected.
Yeah,
Where was it?
in my castle. Right after you came to Storybrooke.
And what did you tell me?
That I knew why you gave me up.
Why?
Because you wanted to give me my best chance.
It took him long enough to figure this out, didn't it? I know I've said this several times, but seriously, what happened to Emma's lie detector ability? It's like the writers don't even bother to keep track of the rules of magic here. Emma's supposed to have this ability, and it almost never actually comes into play. Well, enough dwelling on that. As you might have guessed, this is not one of my favorite episodes. But obviously, they know now that Pan is really in Henry's body, and that body is with Regina. She thinks, obviously, that she's got Henry with her. This is not going to go well for Regina.
Henry. When all this is over, I promise I'm finally going to be the mother you always wanted me to be. I love you.
I know. That's why this was so easy.
Regina isn't harmed, but they find out there's been some major damage done, or at least there's about to be. Pan took something incredibly dangerous.
What?
Please tell me you didn't keep it down here.
Where else would I keep it? What is it? What did Pan take?
A curse?
So Pan's got the dark curse. Now, remember, Rumpel let Regina cast the curse. He intended for her to cast the dark curse because he always intended for it to be broken so he could go looking for bait. He built in Emma being able to break the curse. Pan casting it again won't have that factor built in. Pan intends to cast it, costing everyone their memories, and he will be in charge as the leader of a new Neverland. Hence the title of this episode, The New Neverland. Now, you might have noticed that I didn't talk about half the episode. Now, what do I mean by that, since I didn't leave out anything plot-wise? If you know the series, you know that usually the episode is divided into two parts. What's happening right now, and what happened years ago. In some cases centuries ago, in some cases just before the curse was cast. But in either case, usually they go back and forth. They did that in this episode too. But what was in the past was just basically a side story of Snow trying to stop Regina before she cast the curse because she wants to feel able to bring a child into the world. It had absolutely nothing to do with what happens in the rest of the episode. Obviously, Snow and Charming tried to stop Regina many times before Emma was born. You could have left that completely out and lost nothing. And that's why I didn't talk about that in this episode. Okay, yeah, they went on a side quest to go try to stop Regina. And? So what? It had no effect on this. Usually in every other episode, what we learn in the past shows, oh, this is going to result in this. We can see this danger coming. Or, oh, this is what the heroes are going to have to do to defeat this. And this time there was nothing. This whole episode felt like mostly filler. They let Pan, or rather, they let Henry out of Pandora's box, find out he and Pan switch bodies. Pan's about to cast the Dark Curse. That's all they had to say for this episode to be complete and lead into the next one. Yeah, they wanted to space it out a bit for drama, for the tension of, oh my god, what's Pan gonna do? And I get that, you want to build the tension. But honestly, this episode could have been made so much quicker. It could have easily have been fit in to one of the other episodes, either the one just before this or some of it in the one just after this. They could have just taken some of the material, condensed it, and saved themselves an episode. The next episode is going to be Going Home, which for anyone who loves Rumple is an emotionally intense episode, and I'm going to have a lot more to say in that episode than in this one. It's going to take me a little bit to get to that episode because there's always something, I want to talk about in the Disney realm, and a lot of that revolves around the time of year. So I'm going to be talking about a certain song for Pride Month, and then I have something else in mind for July, and there's another movie I want to be talking about soon, but before I get to that, I'll probably review another episode at once, because I don't want to go as long between episodes again, then I just lose track of things. But honestly, yeah, this episode was one of the least impressive of the series. Could just give a quick summary in the next episode, previously on Once Upon a Time. Okay, this is what led us to this, we're done. Easily handled, not that important of an episode. Let me know in the comments if you agree with this. Maybe this is your favorite episode. Maybe you enjoyed the tension in this. And obviously it's important the Pan has the curse, but like I said, the timing it took to get to this point could have been easily cut in half. So I will see you in the next episode, or rather my next video, since it'll take me a bit to get to the next one's episode. And until next time, remember the magic.